Hey, this is the Overpass live stream. My name is Eric and I make apps. Thank you very much everyone for showing up. It's been a tough week. It's really windy outside. God, I'm rambling already. So the live stream is a chance where we all get to come together and talk about our different, we could answer questions. We have nothing really to talk about, no topic selected for the day. So we could have a chat with everybody. You could put things out to the group, and if you be looking at other people's apps and things like that. And we just keep going until we run out of steam, which is, I think the last time it was an hour and 49 minutes, and an hour and a half, an hour. So let's try to keep it down to about an hour, half an hour. Let's see what we can do. Let's answer all the questions. Hey Azimuth, how's it going? Billy, hey, how are you? Suresh, hi. Data Plus Code, how are you? True Dreams, hey, how's it going? No Name Land, hey, how's it going? Tim, hi. Official Nico, what do you think about hybrid apps? And Rodrigo, live stream equals live rambling. Yeah, you know, I ramble even when it's not live. That's the problem. So let's answer the first question here from Official Nico. What do I think about hybrid apps? I really like hybrid apps, but and when we talk about hybrid, like I used to always talk about hybrid as being cross-platform, but people got mad because they said no, hybrid's JavaScript and HTML only. Right, so in the end, I had to stop calling it hybrid. So I was saying, like, I used to call like Xamarin a hybrid because it's both platforms, right? But no, it's so typically when people talk about hybrids, they talk about HTML and JavaScript, and a lot of our apps are that, and I do like that. It's a lot more portable. It's much more cross-platform. However, I did a video about why we're not using Ionic anymore, although we do have one project that's in a new project that's in Ionic. And one of my reasons is the web view it's always difficult with that, and we have these little problems here and there. And also is my reluctance to, given all the problems I have with Apple, being that they just seem to change their minds about things. They will disqualify tons of apps and remove them from the App Store without any warning. And if it's just your own applications, that's fine. Like my own apps, we could always rewrite them. But if it's client applications and they don't come to me saying I want this as a hybrid or as a Ionic app or whatever, I make that recommendation to them, and then I started getting cold feet about that, saying what if for some reason they didn't approve that, and I have hundreds of apps that we need to go through and rewrite and a bunch of angry clients. And already I've got, like, because of the other day I got a bunch of emails from clients because they got that email from Google Play saying, you know, target SDK 26 and all this stuff, and they're all emailing me saying, what does this mean? What does this mean? Even some of these apps have been live for years and I haven't touched them since, and I say, well, it should be fine, but if we need to update it, we will. But you know, I'll have to charge them because you have to test them on the latest SDKs and stuff like that. So that's always there. Rick Calvert, 9 a.m. in Washington State. Great way to start the morning. That's not a great way to start the morning. Yeah, I hope you have coffee. I hope you have coffee, Rick. True Dreams. Eric, is it good to have an app or a game publisher? See, I've been hearing this a lot lately about game publisher or app publisher. To be honest with you, I don't know what that means. I've never used anything like that. So, I mean, unless it's just publishing yourself. Court Funk, hello. Mariano, hello from Argentina. Hey, Argentina, that's awesome. Potionware, can rewarded videos work on non-game apps? Yeah, we use rewarded videos on Ear Agent. So that was something that we tried out, and yeah, they still work because it's the same API. There's nothing that says they have to be done in a game. Although a lot of stuff would be game related, probably, I think, through the worded ads. But we've done that for Ear Agent. Let's see, Liam, hey, how's it going? Hi, chat. Happy Friday. Yes, it's Friday. Surf Topics. Hello from San Diego. Hello, Surf Topics. Let's see. Billy says, have you ever worked with Flutter or React Native? So yeah, React Native we're using a lot. Flutter is the one that I keep Flutter is the one when I come in on a Saturday and I think I'm gonna get done some of the, I'm gonna do some of the stuff that I didn't get done during the week, and I'm in the office on a Saturday. I spend like a lot of time doing Flutter tutorials because I really like the look of that, and I like the way that it has all the enthusiasm behind it. It has Google support behind it. So I really want to get into Flutter, but I'm torn between the side of, do I want to become the developer where I'm the only guy I know who does Flutter, which, because we have a bunch of Corona apps and I'm the only person who does Corona, so if we ever have anything that needs to be done with it, it's me. Because at the moment I haven't found a lot of Flutter developers. React Native's different because a lot of developers do React Native because it's been around for a few years, and it's not JavaScript, it's Dart, which is, I mean, I find it to be very similar, but there's just a few things to learn there. So let's see. Let's go back to True Dream says, so I'm just going to jump right into the questions. Actually, let me go. Well, actually, let's go through and say all the hellos, and then we'll go back and do the questions. Jennifer F, hey, how's it going? Let's see, and cool. All right, so let's see. So True Dream says, Eric, could you please look at my game called Fire Range on Google Play and share your opinions, please? Okay, so everyone, we're going to have a look at Fire Range. This is True Dream's app here. Let's see. So while I was, every time before the live stream, I'll reboot my Mac just to make sure I got all the memory. And for some reason, they've, oh, come on, why is this not working? Display capture. Oh, this happened last week. Let me just see if I could do this. Add display capture. Sorry, just a moment. Let's do display 2. Okay, all right. Can you see my screen here? Let's see. I'll check. Oh, I see what we did. Okay. Sorry, I think something messed up with my settings here. That's what we get for not preparing in advance. So, True Dreams, let's have a look at your application. Are we all sorted? Everybody good? All right, so let's go to play.google.com with my new Chrome browser here. Oh, they made some changes here. Fire Range. Is this it? True Dreams? Is your name Yenix? Oh, is this it? This looks really good. It's been out since the 21st of September, or it's been updated on 21st of September, version 3.5. Is this it? True Dreams, is this it? Okay, cool. All right, so Fire Range, action, first-person, FPS, first-person shooter. I know what that means. 3D shooting and gun combat. So, it looks really cool to me. I mean, it's you're obviously you got 48 reviews, which is not bad. Let's see, number of installs 500 plus. Okay, maybe this could be more. And then you've got a video. Let's see if we look at the video. All right. Cool. So I don't know if you guys can hear this video here, but we got like Fire Range. I think that looks really cool. And yeah, first-person shooter. This is really nice. Is this done from a template, True Dreams? So yeah, I think the video looks really good. The your screenshots here, you've got, okay, cool. You've got amazing sci-fi missions, sniper missions. Sci-fi mission, shoot in action. Shoot in action. I'm not sure if I like the wording on that, but I think we're okay. Insane graphics. So to me, it looks all right. Let's have a look at it on it's kind of new. So actually, no, it's not new because it's on version 3.5. But let's go to App Annie and have a look there. So what we're going to do is, when I look at App Annie, what I do is I use the ASO tools there so we can see how it's ranking there. So let's go fire range, action, FPS, and when so Google Play, and App Annie is this big tool, and everyone asks me how much I pay for it, and I've never done the paid version because the paid version is like super expensive. It goes from free to super expensive without anything in between. And I suppose maybe it's just what you're comfortable with paying, but like when I was talking to them, it was like £700 a month to just do one category to see the analytics, and it was really not very good about what it does. So so I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this True Dreams. Let's see. Actually, let's do US because that's probably a better way to look at it. So I don't see you ranking for anything yet. I've never seen this before. So 3D shooter. Yeah, I've never seen any of this before. Let's see. So, okay, so results. There must be something wrong with this because look, we do get these up here. So let's go back here. Obviously, there's some problem with App Annie today. So you can see that right now, if we look at one-player shooter games, you're ranking number 10. So yeah, there's something wrong with their report. 3D action game 26. You're ranking number 3 on 3D action games. That's pretty good. So it depends on what people would be searching. So I'd be interested to hear what everybody else has to say about that. I'm not sure. I think you got a lot of really good keywords in there. I'm not sure how well they're ranking. Let's go back to this guy. Let's see. Azimuth says, guys, I just want to share. Some of my apps were removed because of sensitive user permissions, such as access find location. I have to make a privacy policy. Yes, we have a video on that coming up in the next, I think tomorrow. It might be tomorrow or Sunday. So Rodrigo pointed this out to me during the week, Azimuth, that he had some of his apps removed too because he didn't have a privacy policy. And it wasn't because of access find permission. It was for advertiser ID. And this is something that's, I think they're cracking down on a lot of this stuff. Like for me, I've got privacy policies on all the apps, but it's just one privacy policy page where I have on all the Google Play pages, and I think I have them in all the apps too. So I think we just have a link in the apps, which took ages to put in. But I've got, I had similar emails. I actually got a warning last February on some of those, so I was able to go through and do that. But for me, I don't have one privacy policy for each one. And on the video tomorrow or the next day, there is or maybe Rodrigo would like to post it here. There's like a free privacy policy site that you could go through and get that done. Let's see. Data Plus Code says, is it still worth releasing apps to the Amazon App Store? In 2015, you made a video saying it did not really make much of a difference to your apps. Just wondering if things have changed in 2018. I haven't tried it. I gave up in 2015, so maybe they're better. Maybe more people are getting the Kindle, and then that's the App Store that's available to them. But I still haven't released to that, so I'm afraid I don't really know. We were doing that in the beginning. We were doing it to Amazon, to Samsung Store, and now it's just Google Play and the iOS, or sorry, Google Play and the App Store. Even for clients, I don't even bring up Amazon because I haven't found it to be worth it, and it's just like another thing to add to it, another thing that could go wrong. So we don't do that. But I mean, it would be interesting to hear what other people think because I've talked about this before too. I've talked to people who said Amazon is their best store, right? And for me, it's not the case. So I think it's one of those things where you should test it out. At least put one of them in it. The nice thing about it is you could use the same APK and just put it there without making any modifications, unless you have in-app purchases or something like that, and then you have to make that change. Let's see. Okay, game publishers like Voodoo and Ketchup seem to get millions of downloads to the apps they publish on behalf of other developers, I noticed. So is that, it sounds like I know on YouTube there's something called MCMs, or like content marketers, or not content marketers, there's some sort of like networks you could join for YouTube where they'll do the marketing for you, or something, something where you don't really need it, but they help you get viewers or something. And I've heard really bad stories about it. I think for me, a game publisher, if it works, it works. But my concern would be, what do they take from you? Do they take a percentage? What do they do? So it's something I know nothing about. Absolutely nothing, I'm afraid. But Official Nico says, I'm a building app on Ionic because I worked in JavaScript a lot. After now watching your videos, I am not sure it will get accepted to the App Store. I think it, Official Nico, I think it will. I have not, when I talked about it, I'm concerned more about the client stuff. I think publish it to the App Store. I think you'll be fine. I think it's not going to be an issue getting it published. If it gets rejected, it won't be because it's Ionic. So there are lots of Ionic apps going into the App Store, but it was more, my video was more about the concern about that kind of stuff. So don't worry about it. Continue it. If you're like nearly done, continue with it. Parash, hey, how's it going? Sophia says, oh, Sophia, where'd she go? Sophia says, hi, new subscribers to see Singapore. Videos title still showing 14th September. I always forget to change that. Thank you very much, Sophia. Oh, man. All right, let me change that video. Oh, okay. So I also want to talk to you guys about, if you guys on the community tab on the YouTube channel, we started a Facebook group called Entrepreneurial Devs at the Overpass. So if you want to join our Facebook group, so a lot of people have asked for a Facebook group because they can't make the live stream each week. They want to put stuff out there to the group. So we created a Facebook group months ago, and I just couldn't think of a good name for it. So today we finally put a link to it on our channel. It's called Entrepreneurial Devs at the Overpass, because we wanted to use entrepreneurial devs, but when you search for that, there's like loads of other ones. So I'm trying to think of enough. So I spent all this time at the back of my head trying to think of a better name for it, and in the end we just thought, we'll just include Overpass in it, although it's not going to be an Overpass spam thing, right? I don't want it to be like, I was trying to think, I don't want to just be something where we put our videos there because you guys watch it on YouTube. You already subscribed at YouTube, but something that if you wanted to post questions to the group, that would be a good place to do it. Maybe we'll put a little bit of content on there. It's like some live Facebook live content. I'm not really sure what to do yet on there, but it's just something that we can all go, because like if you leave comments in the videos, you might not get the same views. But if we put all the comments in one place, but I still want comments on the videos. That's the thing. So one of the reasons why I didn't do it was because I didn't want to take you guys away from YouTube. Let's see. Yuri the Best. Hello. Hey, how's it going? That's an awesome name, Yuri. Let's see. True Green says, Eric, this game removed by Google Play because I've not added privacy policy. I just added privacy policy and it's approved. Yeah, I think they're cracking down on that this week. Rodrigo sent me a link to a Reddit thread where a lot of people had their apps removed, and a removal is not a suspension, even though it might feel like that when you get it. You just have to upload it again. In fact, if you get your app suspended and you appeal it, they don't just put it live again. What they'll do is they'll put it to status of removed, so you can upload a new version and get that approved. So I'm hoping they just remove more apps lately. The suspension thing is a little bit heavy-handed because you can't do anything with a suspended app. Is that True Dreams? Is that why you can't see the rankings because it was removed? Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, I'm a little bit before that. Mason goes mountain biking. My phone fell in some lotion studying the Grinder app. Any suggestions? I don't have any, Mason. Thank you very much. Mariano, question. Do you think passive income is a hard goal to get? It is more difficult than just working time, changing your time for money, but it's definitely worthwhile doing. In fact, a lot of the times when you get a job and you're working for somebody else, what they're trying to do is get passive income, or they're trying to do something where they could have systems working in place that work for them. I mean, even let's say you had a McDonald's franchise, for example, and you're not working there, that income would be passive income, but for you because you're the owner, but not for the employees because they're working there. So if you release a product like an app, it's just an automated thing that people are downloading and they're purchasing it, and that's passive income. And that could be ebooks or videos or whatever as a passive revenue sources. And that's, I mean, we get, right now it's about 110, 120 pounds a day through passive sources, and that's, or through passive income, and that's really nice, but it took a while to build up to that. And it's not like, there's so many people out there who will say, oh, all you have to do is do drop shipping Amazon. That's the thing I keep seeing all the time. Or you just have to reskin this app and you'll be making millions. And it's not that easy. You get something out there and you realize that, I mean, I think every product you put out there, nobody cares, and you have to make them care, or you have to get it in front of enough people. So but no, I think that should be the goal. The passive income, if you had to choose between passive or active income, choose passive income, because it's not a myth. I mean, people get it all the time. In fact, that's what businesses do. You know, they're trying to build passive income either through systems that work for them or through products that work for them. And even if they have a product, they have to think about how do they market it, how do they get in front of people, and it's not as passive as people seem to think. The amount of people who think that creating an app and putting it on the App Store and then all of a sudden passive income is going to flow in, maybe it did that in the beginning, maybe like when the App Store was new, but now it's like once you do that, you have to think, how do I get people in there? How do I get people to find it? All that stuff. But when you do, then it's really good. My thing is, I never know how long it's going to last. I never know, like, for a while I thought maybe I'll just not do Overpass. Maybe I'll just live off the passive income and just, I'll grow a beer belly. I'll sit in a lawn chair in my back garden with a sun hat and just let life pass me by. But then, like, I never know how long that's going to last. And and my passive income is not a huge amount by any standards. And by the way, and when I say 100 pounds a day, that includes weekends and all that stuff too. So it's not like making that in a job. Let's see. But yeah, Mariano, I'd say, yeah, definitely. I would, if you could do it, do it. And you should always be releasing your own stuff too, not just, even if you're working for clients, you should still be releasing your own stuff and trying to build that up too. So Yuri the Best says, question, please expound on passive income as Mariano mentioned. What are your plans for retirement after game dev? I don't really think about retirement. I'm not making enough money that retirement's really a thing. I have a pension going. What I'm trying to do now is build up Overpass. So we're trying to work on systematizing things. So you have a lot. My business is like a lot of young businesses, or a lot of businesses that are just starting out. Even though it's been around for a long time, I guess I'm just a slow learner. Where it's like a software developer says, you know what, I'm tired of working for other companies. I would rather just work for myself and get clients. And then you go out and get clients, and you're the one doing all the work. And pretty soon you find out that this is not scalable, right? It's not something that could, I like to talk about how sometimes I feel like I own a rowboat company and I'm the only employee. So like I spend my time on the shore marketing my rowboat. Hey, ride my rowboat, ride my rowboat. And then somebody says yes, and then I'm rowing them across, and then there's no marketing happening. So then I go back and have to start the process over again. So one of the things bringing on the team is trying to systematize that a lot. So if I get other developers to do some coding for me, that works, because then I can focus on the marketing. I can focus on getting us in front of the clients, new clients, and all that kind of stuff. We got the other members of the team doing other parts of it, so that we can focus on certain things, and it becomes a system rather than I'm just a lone developer doing stuff. So this is, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but there's been a lot of projects where I've been here completing it on the weekends or at night, and every time that happens, I consider that project to be a failure because the developers let me down, or something just didn't work. The developers didn't understand, or they went missing, or something like that. It doesn't happen that often, but it happens. And I consider that to be a failure, even though the client's very happy, they get their app, we get paid. It's still like it doesn't work out. So I'm trying to do that. So, oh yeah, can't post site. Sorry about that. Let's see. Potionware says, can you check out Melt Valuator on Google Play? All right, so this is for Potionware. We're gonna look at Melt Valuator. Okay, so Melt Valuator. What is value? So I said Valuator, but it's Valuator. Okay, so formerly known as Precious Metals Valuator, this simple app uses app calculates melt value of gold. Oh, melt. Oh, okay. Valuator. Okay, so you got a video. You've got a few different ads here. Okay, you've got the ad mob in there. See, this is what none of my screenshots have the ad mob ads in there, right? And I think I've heard of somebody getting their ads or getting their app removed because they didn't show this, because their screenshots didn't show the ads, and it does have ads. It's either, I can't remember if it was on Google Play or on the App Store, but I just do that because I think if they do in-app purchases and they remove the ads, then it will look accurate. But that's one of those things. So let's see. So the icon, I think the icon looks good, but if you're looking at it in, let's say, precious. Let's do a search on precious metals. So we can see it looking with all the other icons together. Here we go. So it's like when you're looking at it on a phone, it might be a bit too small to see. So I mean, some of these other ones are, bigger. So like this one, I would think would be really bad because it looks fine there, this gold and silver one. But if you're looking at it really small, you can't read the text, you can't do anything there. So that would just be one thing. But again, it's not what I like, it's what works. So if that's working for you, but you might want to do some experiments to try out some other stuff. Also, the screens look okay. I mean, it's hard not to say what to make a like a preference thing, but I mean, maybe if you got a designer to work on it. But however, if it's 1,000 plus installs, last update 1.1, works actively. You got all 5-star reviews, 10 all 5-star reviews. How's it doing in terms of downloads, Potionware? Let's see. Cool. Oh, all right. Sorry, Rodrigo. I just showing that once. Yeah, Google, YouTube is doing some of that. So, freeprivacypolicy.com. Good. Hey, Mega Man, you made it a bit late today. That's all right. Have you ever used promotion codes for Google Play Store? I have not. I've used them for the App Store, but I've not used them for Google Play Store. And you know the thing about promo codes, and this might just be me. It's like I don't know how to use them. Like I remember. Well, this is more for the App Store, but I remember giving promo codes to people, and they say, "Well, how do I use it?" I'm like, I don't know. Apparently, there's some place to put it, and it's not the most obvious thing, and that might be the case for Google Play. But it used to be that you weren't able to, and lots of people would ask me. They say, "I can't afford the paid version of your app. Can you just give it to me for free?" And I'm like, "I can't. I don't know how." And so I know that's something that's in the last couple of years they brought in promo codes, but I haven't used it. Let's see. Risty says, why don't you try to make income over mobile apps course for ads on mobile apps? So yeah, this is something, Risty, one of my goals, so I do these goals every 90 days. And one of my last 90-day goals was to create a course, like an ASO course. And I didn't do it. And it's just, I think I need to, but if I did a course, I would want to make it reasonably priced so that people can use it. One of the things I cannot stand is going to some place where they go, watch my webinar and I'm going to sell you this 500-pound course, a $500 course. And they'll just say, they promise you the moon. And I just want to say this can help you. This is everything together, like in app marketing and things like that. So we can sell it as a course, but a lot of the information, if they wanted to watch all the videos, they probably could too. But just something there, and that would be a nice income stream for me. However, I also am like, I don't want to be the guy who, I don't want to be the vulture. I call them app vultures, the guy who makes money off of app developers, right? I like being an app developer myself. I'm tired of seeing people who don't know, who don't have their own apps on the App Store, who don't know how the market works, but they promise the world to somebody else. They say, I can help your app be a success. And you're like, is your app a success? Well, I don't have apps because I'm just blah, blah, blah. So I'm scared about that too. Like sometimes, like somebody asked before if I thought about doing a podcast, and I would love to do a podcast. That would be awesome. And then I realized I'm going to run out of time, and I'm not going to be an app developer anymore. I'm going to be this guy who talks about apps all the time and is not doing it anymore. And that would be, I would hate that. But yeah, I mean, I have thought about that. So there may be a course that comes out. I pride myself on the fact that I have nothing to sell you, right? But it's also like a liability, like people asking me for stuff. Can you do a course on this? Can you do this? Can you have something in place? And or do an ebook or something like that. When it comes to the course, I actually did an outline for a course. I should show it to you guys here on the live stream, actually. So I did like a mind map of everything that we would talk about and how that would all fit together. And I just didn't really get around to doing much more on that. So Mega Man 2016 says, Eric, do you use the same app description on iOS in the Play Store, or do you do the SEO ASO gods, or the SEO ASO gods punish for this? I do mostly. Like sometimes I used to use the exact same one, and what would happen? Well, because I used to say also available on Android, and iOS started rejecting that. But I haven't had. I use it. Yeah, pretty much I use the same one on both. I'll do it unless there's some reason why they won't accept one on the other. However, I will change it for the free and the paid version, because like even the title. So the title I will change slightly for the free and paid version because I want the different keywords there, and then I can see how it is. So my assumption has always been, if they don't find the free version but they find the paid version and they don't want to pay, then if they were to look at it, they would see the free version there on related apps. So so I do swap it up there a little bit. Just give me a few extra keywords. Let's see. AJ says Facebook ads or Google ads to promote my app. Facebook ads, my opinion is Facebook ads are better, but they're more expensive. Google ads are cheaper, and they also have the UAC, the Universal App Campaigns, which uses machine learning and all that stuff. But it's I think it's easy. I mean, I prefer the Google ads just because every time I've run Facebook ads, I just spend so much money, even though it's really well targeted. It depends on how much money you're going to make from the users, I think. Let's see. Asma says, 2 of my apps were removed. I just removed sensitive permission and got it reinstated. Cool. Mark Fowler. Hey, Mark. Do you develop on Linux at all? I'm having serious render problems with the activity main XML with any layout. No, Mark, I wish I did. This is one of the things I think, if I was like a real proper developer, like real, get out there, I would be a Linux user. But every time I've used Linux a few times in the past, and every time I do, I could use it for maybe a few weeks, and then I'm just like, there's so much I can't do that I end up going back to Windows or Mac. And I've been a Mac user for the past six years, I guess. And I'm not like I'm not an Apple fanboy. I'm not like, oh, the Mac changed my life. Oh, when I got the Mac, I found the Lord. No, it was like I got a Mac, and it was like thinking, this sucks. The control and the command is swapped, and eventually, and it ruined my game. It messed with my mind. So once I got used to it, I haven't gone back just because of that. But I mean, the Mac. I always think the Mac is nice hardware. It's the software that I mean. I would think that I would be very good with Linux, because there's certain things on Linux and Mac that are very similar in terms of like command line and stuff like that. On Windows, it always bothered me on the Windows when you use a command line that you can't just paste into it, right? You have to go right click and paste and all this stuff. So little things like that. So sorry, I'm rambling again. Stop it, Derek. Let's see. True Dream says, Eric, what can we share each other's apps or games in that Facebook groups so we can have opinions? Yeah, I think that would be good. I think the Facebook group would be a good place for you guys to share that. Let me see if I can find it here, because we just today started doing it. And let's see. Actually, let me just go back. Let me bring the group up here, facebook.com. So we called it, again, it's one of my things was I didn't want it to be just like a some way to advertise us. I mean, although, you know, yeah, why not? But you know, like, I think it would be more useful if it's a place where all the developers can meet. So let's see if I can find it. Here we go. So it's called Entrepreneurial Devs at the Overpass. Because entrepreneurial devs and entrepreneurial developers was all over the place. We have this header up here, which is our logo, our new logo, which people either like it or they hate it. It's exactly the same as the last one. I hate the logo. So, but you know, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So yeah, we just really started putting it on the channel today. So we have 17 members. So we'll do that and hopefully have some place that people can go to and not market to each other and not be. I'm not interested in any gurus saying, you know, buy my services or buy my book or my Udemy course, but something that we could just post through and give honest feedback the same way that we do on this live stream. Let's see. Parent Love, hi Eric, thanks for your content. Hey, thanks Parent Love, much appreciated. Would love to get your thoughts on Parent Love, iOS and Android. Thanks, Ant. Okay, so Ant, I'm gonna check on Google Play on Android just because it's easier for me to search that on my screen. Otherwise, I have to connect my iPad to the thing. So Parent Love is Parent Love, baby. Is this it? Ant, is this the one? I like the logo. If this is, I just want to make sure this is it, because I hate it when I go through and I'm giving criticism or talking about an app that it's not the one that we should be looking at. So let's see. Parent Love, are you still there? Let's see. Okay, well, let's have a look at this one. So, and I think I like it. I think it's a really slick app. You have 141 downloads, or sorry, 141 reviews. It's hard to get reviews, so it's not really a very good reflection, but the more reviews you can get, the better. Easy to use, natural consistency, be reminded, stay connected. Cool. Yeah, I like that icon. I think it's really nice. You got really good reviews. You're responding to all the reviews, which is good. 5,000 plus downloads. In-app products you got in there, and also you've got really good £2.34 to £4.08 per item. So you're not going for the 99 cent thing, so that's good. And cool. So chart improvements. Cool, and your what's new is really good there too. I mean, one thing, I mean, this is just, I mean, all I have is ideas, because if this is working, this is working. I don't really see anything wrong with it. You might want to put a picture of a baby in there, or a crib or something on one of them, but it depends on what appeals to users. Like, I'm trying to think. So let's look at the title: Parent Love, baby feeding tracker, diapers, pumping. So you got the keywords in there. Should we have a look at it on? Let me just make sure. Is this it? Have you come back? Okay, yes. All right, cool. Let's have a look at it on App Annie and just take a look here. We'll have a look at it on. We'll stay with Google Play on this one. So ASO. I do like the screenshots. I think I like the use of colors there. So bottle feeding, you're number 2. Oh, bottle feedings, feeding tracker, number 4. Baby feeding, you're number 5. You actually, 249. That's, wow, you're actually not doing bad. Baby feeding app, diapers, you're number 6. Wow. Okay. So I think that turn that, I mean, this is one thing. One of the things we always talk about, like when we talk about ASO, we talk about ranking for keywords, which is important. You should rank for these keywords. But a lot of times we didn't know until like how if those keywords are actually being used until the user acquisition report or the acquisition report on Google Play started to show how people are actually finding it. So I'd be interested to see how many people of the people who are finding your page, which ones are actually coming in from those keywords, because bottle feeding is actually a really good one. Actually, I'm looking at United Kingdom, so, which is my default, but let's go through here and look at, again, you're still really high on the US side of things too. So, I mean, I think that looks really good. Oh, you've done it in Xamarin. That's in Xamarin, cool. So, open to any ideas. So, this is just some ideas from me, and everyone else has, anybody else who has some ideas here, let me see. But I would think that I like the fact that you have the screenshots look good. You could try to have one of them with a baby or a crib in the background, just so you see like in real use. I like the way you have different colors, but you know, simplify your brain, which is not really. So I'm just trying to put myself in a perspective of I need a feeding tracker. So. I go through and I look at it and I see the first screenshot. I say simplify your brain might not be the thing that I'm looking for, but this is really hard to put yourself in a mother's mindset, or you know, who your ideal parent is coming to look at this. So you know, simplify your brain, easy to use, natural, because this is creates for family. Be reminded, stay connected. So so yeah, I mean, if you could have a picture of a baby. Again, I'm just thinking aloud. I keep qualifying this because I would hate to give you bad advice because everything looks really good on it. So let's say you see a picture of a baby. Your baby deserves, you know, if there's one thing you could never forget, right? There's one thing that you could never forget. Your life is busy. You got so much going on, but there's one thing that you can never forget, and that's when to feed your baby. So you're carrying this phone around in your pocket and all that stuff. So that could be something to do. So that would just be something there. So yeah, I mean, let's say if we went to like a stock image photo. So we use Adobe Stock, which is expensive, but I think it was just part of the Adobe suite. But I mean, there's other stock images out there, but you can have a few of them where you have the app in the front and the baby in the background, and then you talk about, just make sure you never forget feeding times, keep track of all that stuff. So, and again, I think it has a lot to do with the. Sorry, I'm just looking at your description because I still have not done all this markup on my descriptions. Like, I just think that looks really cool with the way you have the blue in there. So we're just having a look at it. It's nice, it stands out. But yeah, that's something to think about. And again, what you could use is Google Play experiments. So go through it and do that, and create some experiments with different screenshots and see if. You kind of need to have enough traffic coming in to see if it makes a difference, but you can see whether or not one of them is more likely to convert than another. Let's see. Let's go back up to where do we leave off? Okay, so Official Nico say Ionic is like a hate and love at the same time because it's so freaking sensible that I can use JavaScript. I think Ionic is really good. Every so often though, we have an app. We have an app that's out there for a client that's in Ionic. It's version 1, so it might not even be an issue now. But you get you get a white screen, and which means there's an error in there. It's not because of the platform. It's some sort of error in there that's unhandled, and we just don't get any response back from it. So we're trying to think what it is. How do we apply global error handling, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, if there is a way to do that, I mean, I'd love to hear it. But we still have that kind of stuff. Bart Raka, hello from Australia. Hey Bart, how's it going? Cooper, hi. Hey Cooper. Rohit says, "Hi Eric, I have seen some apps on the Apple App Store that have a different publisher name than Google Play. Why is that?" Oh, well, I mean, so you're talking about like an app, you see an app on Google Play and also on the App Store and the publisher name is different. They could have set it up differently. I think we have some clients that are like that. Like they set up one with their personal name and one with their company name because they didn't quite understand how it went. So even ours, I think we have on Google Play, our app name is Overpass App Superhuman Apps and Games. So we put like a subtitle on it. And on the App Store, it was Overpass Limited for ages until I didn't know how to change it. And then finally someone said, "Dude, why don't you just email them?" So I did. I emailed them. So I changed it to Overpass Apps, and I did. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So Danilo Vieira says, "Hey Eric, which platforms do you use to make a REST server?" So it depends. Like it depends on what we need to do. I think I like to use Heroku if we can, but a lot of times Heroku, like if you need to use a file system, it can be a bit difficult, and you have like we have like AWS in the background, so using S3 server, we'll use EC2, like just a Linux server a lot of the time. So the problem with that is that could go down. It might be more difficult to scale. And then of course we got the Firebase side, but that's more in the Firebase scheme of things. So you could do the cloud functions, do a REST API there. But that's mostly what we do. Mostly if I do a REST server, or if my team does a REST server, we always do it in Node.js using Express, or unless we use Firebase, which is still Node, but it's it's not Express, I don't think. So that's just where we go. So I hope that makes sense. Mark Fowler says, "Eric, what are your thoughts on Codename 1? I don't know what it is. I feel like you guys are bringing up all this stuff. Like, I feel like I haven't done my homework. Oh, I still have the screen up. Codename 1. I don't know what it is. Provides a seamless application development with Java, Kotlin, iPhone, etc. Codename 1 Academy. What is it? Is it a app builder? Complex for full backend implementations. I've never actually looked at it, Mark. I can't quite tell what it is. Gorgeous native mobile app development with Java or Kotlin for iPhone, etc. So Java and Kotlin. Oh, for iPhone, Android, etc. Let's see. Codename 1. Build complex real-world apps with full back-end and full front-end implementations. Covers the full process of building these apps. Okay, so I guess I don't know enough about it. I can't tell what it is. Is it app builder software? Sorry about that. I'll have a look at it. Like, Mark, if you remind me next week, I'll have a look at it. I'll try to have a look at it if I remember. Cooper says, "How do you deal with burnouts?" Do you mean like when you say burnout, or do you mean burnouts? Like, these guys are a bunch of burnouts. I just can't deal with these guys. No, so like burnout, I reach burnout every so often. Like I just do. Like I'm like, man, right? And I wish I could say I didn't. I wish I could say I had some trick, but like sometimes you just do. You're just like, dude, I got too much going on, and everything is just, yeah, I need to slow down a little bit. But it's usually temporary. Like it's usually, you'll get to a point where you're doing so much, you're like, I just got so much going on. I need to take a rest or take some time off or whatever. Like you guys could probably tell some of the videos are if there's low energy, like if there's low energy in a video, I'm like, just, so, but it's usually like, I'll get excited about it again. Usually burnout just means you feel like you're in a rut and you just, like you're doing the same thing again and again. And if you find something that's interesting to you and you get excited about it, but that's just, that's just me. I think there's something there that's exciting to me. I've never been so burnt out that I didn't want to come into the office. But there might be like a project, like a project that I'm working on. I'm just like, yeah, I just, this feels like it's never gonna end, but it does. It's just going through it. So. Rodrigo says, Eric, Play Store now contains ads, but but I also hide the ads from my app screenshots. Yeah, me too. It's like a little ASO tip. Yeah, I do, because I think if they did purchase it, then I'm just showing them the purchase version. And also, to be honest with you, I'm lazy, so I do the same screenshots for the paid and the free versions. So let's see. Cordfunk says, I implemented my own promo code system. Apple rejected it. It sucks when all you want to do is something nice for your user, but you can't because of Apple. I did the same thing, Cordfunk. We had this thing. We still do on Android, but like if you tweet about it or if you like it on Facebook, then you get a promo code and this whole thing. And I think we may have removed it because it was such a hassle. Like nobody ever did the right thing. So what I tried to do was have them, when they go to a page, they enter the code. They go through and they like it on Facebook or whatever. And then if they did that through like a social locker plugin on WordPress, then it would show them a code, and they put the code into the phone, and it would check back with an API that I wrote and validate whether or not the code was already used or if it existed. And they never did the right thing. All they would do is say, I liked it, why didn't you? They never do it through the website. They say, I just liked it, I didn't get my code. So eventually I just started saying, just go to this website, the code's right there. And I just made that, I took away everything. So just go to this website, you get the code. And but like we tried to do that we tried to put that same thing through Apple, and the same thing, they rejected it. Because they're not going to get they can't give anything away if they can't get their 30% cut. I think that's the reason. Let's see. Let's see. Billy says, I think your screenshots have, okay, so we're talking about, okay, yeah, so I think if your screenshots have a banner in them, people will be less likely to download your app. I think so too. Nobody really wants ads. But it's just something to put in there. See. Okay. Emilio. Hey, Emilio. Hey, hello, Eric. Maybe it would be a good idea to post this course you're planning on producing on Udemy. I thought about Udemy. So like when I think about doing a course, I looked at Udemy. I looked at Teachable. I looked at Kajabi. I looked at lots of different things. And in the end, I've actually gone to the point where I set up an account on Teachable, and I was going to do that. And I started doing it. And for some reason, I could do the daily video, I could do the live stream, but when it comes time to actually sit there and recording course content, I keep messing up. So I think it's just because I like the vibes of it or something. So I thought about Udemy. You know the thing I don't like about Udemy? I mean, I bought a lot of courses from Udemy. They are always on sale. Like they're never, like every day they'll say, you got 2 days left for the sale, 2 days left for the sale. And then you get to the end of the 2 days, they go back to normal price for like a day. And then they'll say, we got our new sale on, get everything for $9.99. It's like, it's just kind of weird that they're always on sale. It's like like if you go to the mall, there's always a shop that's closing down sale. Like it's like, when's this place gonna close down? David Mabwana, says, hey, greetings from Kenya. Hey, how's it going? Quick question: is making an app really a viable as full-time business, or is doing it as a side hustle better? And pretty new to your content, by the way. Cool. Well, welcome, David. So yeah, I would say you have to pay the bills. So if you're going to do an app as a full-time thing, you need to make sure it's going to earn revenue. And you don't know what kind of revenue it's going to earn until you put it live. So I would say do it as a side hustle to begin with so that you are able to pay the bills. You don't want to be one of these guys who are like make or break. If this app doesn't work, I'm dead. I had one client who did that once. He was like, I spent my whole life savings on this app. And it wasn't a lot either. It wasn't like, that's your life savings? But it was just like, if this doesn't work out, I'm dead. I'm like, yeah, no pressure then. Because I'm thinking, I told him at the beginning, the easy part is building the app. The hard part is getting people to use it and to pay and make purchases and all that kind of stuff. But he was so sure his idea was going to work. And but it was very stressful for me. So that's one of the things that I look for when we look for new clients, or when I talk to new clients, is if they're unreasonable about their expectations. Like you're putting something out there, you have a product out there, and you got to get people to find it and download it and use it and react to the feedback that you get, and think about how people are going to get there. Are they going to find it via search? Is the category too crowded? There's lots of things there, and to look at. I mean, I was having a chat with Rodrigo this week, and we were talking about. I was saying how one of the reasons why we don't offer ASO services, because occasionally I'll get people call up and say, "Can you just market I have an app on the App Store already. Can you do the marketing for me?" And I'm like, you know what? We're more a developer. I feel like if we develop it, I know that we can develop it. I know, like, we write up a spec, we build the thing. At the end, I say, here it is, exactly as you wanted it. Transaction done. But if it was like an ASO thing, it would like, I don't know how people could sell ASO or SEO services, because it's such a like I was going to say a fine art, but it's like you can't promise anything, right? You can't promise anything because there's lots of things you have to do, and just be watching everything that's happening. And like, I couldn't say, like, when somebody calls up and says, I can make you the top of Google, you know, you're thinking, what, based on what keywords or whatever. If I say, make me the top of Google on toys, can you do that? Huh? And they'll be like, yeah, they couldn't, you know. So, or, you know, or if you said something like, you know, I'll do it, or yeah, I'll do it, and they say, if you're not able to get me on the top of the App Store, I just won't pay you, right? It's like, no, because it takes a lot of work. So that's one of the things, and a lot of I'm always very skeptical of somebody who says they can take all your problems away, because a lot of this stuff is just going through and grind through and look through keywords and thinking through things. And a lot of times you get an idea in the shower thinking, oh, maybe somebody might be searching on this and they might do that, and you're just always, you know, you're always thinking about your own app like that. So Sophia says, you mentioned the Control Command key annoyance on the Mac before. You know what, you could swap them, right? Sophia, I don't know you can swap. I did keylogger thing. It's too late to do it now. I've been using this thing for years. I'll have the same problems if I did it now. Sophia, where were you a few years ago? Like 6 years ago. Stephen B says, 2 times you ignore my questions. Fuck you, I guess. So, Stephen, what was your question? Let me go back, even though you just swore at me. Stephen, I don't see your question. So, if you want to ask it, you can, even though you swore at me, but no offense taken. Let's see. Let's see, Parent Love, we got, sorry, I've lost my place here. I'm going to start. Okay, so let's go to Ajal1 says, what program do you use to make your apps? So we use different ones, and I'm not saying these are the best. So if we need to use native, we'll do Android. So we'll do Java, or my preference is Swift. But a lot of times if we do something that's native iOS, is we're taking over something and it was already done in Objective-C. And I hate Objective-C. I hate working with Objective-C. And you know, again, that's one of those things. If I was a hardcore guy, I'd probably be like, oh no, you just have to understand how the pointers work and all this stuff. But So, and I've never used Kotlin. However, I saw something last week on Kotlin native, which we could do Kotlin to iOS, and I thought that sounds really interesting. It might be something to look into, but I've never used Kotlin. Most of the time, a lot of our apps are done in Ionic or hybrid frameworks, because that's what we were using for the longest time. But recently, we've moved into React Native. I want to get into Flutter. I want to, you know, we don't have any developers who use Flutter. I'm thinking, do I hire somebody and just give them like a month to learn Flutter? Because I think that will take off. I could be wrong. And on the game side, we use Corona SDK, or Corona, and they're just called Corona now. But Unity would probably be a better way to go. Like if I was going to start over again, I would do Unity. But I think they were really expensive when I started out. So let's see. Extrava Game says, "Hi Eric. One of our apps has been getting lower Play Store visits and lower install despite nothing have changed. It started around May. It went from being around 1,000 installs per month to 500. Have you looked at the keyword rankings?" So I'd be really interested to see how your Extrava Games. It would be really interesting to see how your acquisition report looks. So are you showing up less in search? So I'm wondering if it's an ASO issue, or if it's something that people are not doing, or if there's a competitor that's come onto the scene that's taken away some of your keywords, or they're ranking higher than you on what people were doing. So what I would do is I go into the user acquisition reports and look at when it was doing well compared to what it's doing now, and see what's different about it. I mean, it's either there's been a competitor that's taken over one of your keywords, so people aren't finding it through search, or people just aren't searching on that anymore, or whatever. So there might be something to look at. But I'm not sure. Like in terms of like a Google Play wide thing, I'm not sure if there's been anything like that. Let's see. Motar 2K says, I'm sorry I've taken so long to get to these questions, by the way. Motar 2K says, do you think a business model of $20 for a one-time purchase could be as profitable as a microtransactions? I don't know. Most of our, actually all of our in-app purchases are managed, non-managed. The non-renewable ones. So I've never used subscriptions, but something I think probably should do, because subscriptions were pretty new when I started out on some of these things. And we do, I'm blanking on the terms. The one where it renews every time. So you have the stuff that's consumables. So you have consumable and non-consumable. So consumable ones would be like coins, so that they'd have to keep replenishing those, and you have non-consumables, which would be like unlock this feature, and then they could go whatever, they have that purchase for the rest of the time. So we use mostly non-consumable, and I would really want to do something where we get into the purchases. In terms of micropayments, I'm not quite sure what that is, but that's it. So yeah, Parent Love, tell us how you did the blue links in the Google Play description there. Rodrigo's asking. Dean Thompson, hey Dean, says, does it help to have keywords in the title? Yes. I can't help but go for a solid name so it doesn't get taken. Yeah, you know, that's a thing, right? You don't want to have all keywords in your title. I think I did a video about this a few weeks ago, where like a really good keyword title would be a really bad real title, because you want to have something where you have your own identity and your own brand, and you don't want to have something called let's say you have a currency calculator. A real good keyword title, if it wasn't overused, would be currency calculator, which is just boring, because that's what people would search for. But like, you want to differentiate yourself from the other ones, so, and you want to build your own brand, and you know, it just sounds like you'd have like this generic app if you just called it what it does. So so yeah, but Dean, you definitely do. So what we do is we have the subtitles, so we'll put something in there, and then we'll have the title before it. So it used to be, they switched around where it used to be you had like a really long Apple title and a really short Google title. You have 30 characters on Google and then like 255 characters on Apple. So we'd have these really long titles where we'd put all these keywords in, and then they switched it around. Now I think it's the opposite. It's 30 on Apple, but you have an actual dedicated subtitle subtitle field on Apple, and then it's gone down to and it's increased to 50 characters, I think, on Google Play. I might be wrong. Let's see. No Name Land says, Eric, can you use Logcat in Android Studio to pick up the issue? Had the same problem in PhoneGap. So it depends. So if you use Logcat what we're talking about is Ionic app or hybrid app, and you're using Logcat in Android to see the issue. If it's handled and you're writing to the console, then yeah, that you could use Logcat there if you could duplicate it. Sometimes what I was talking about is we have an app that we get a couple people out in the wild somewhere who gets a white screen, which means there's some unhandled error. For the life of me, cannot reproduce this thing, right? I have no idea what it is. So I look at what kind of phones they have, and I don't see any commonalities, and I'm thinking, do I want to go and try to buy one of these phones, or go onto Amazon and try to rent one of these phones or something? And that's a bit more difficult. But yeah, if you did have it in Logcat and you were writing to the console, you could figure out what that was. But it doesn't crash like like you want to get in crash reporting like you would if it was native. But that's like that. But that's fine. I mean, if you were really, it's not that big an issue. I mean, there's only so much you can do because it's running in a web view. Mark Fowler says plugin for developing Android or iOS with Java 1 code base. Let's see. Let's see. Cord Funk says, I really like Udemy. I agree, they're always on sale. Okay, I'm way behind with stuff we talked about ages ago. Sophia says, I use nothing else besides Xcode and Android Studio for app development. But I loathe using their interface builders. I always use all my UI in my own classes. What's your view on nibs and storyboards? Sophia, I'm so glad you said that because I hate using those two, right? It seems like they've done that to make it easier for us, but I hate the whole drag drop thing. I hated it in web. I hate it in apps, right? You don't have, well, actually, you do have that in Corona, but they brought it in to make it so anybody can make an app, and it was just so much more like you build, you render, build, render, and I prefer doing that much more too. And this is one of the things I like about Flutter, is they don't have anything like that. They don't have some extra XML based language or some extra markup that you have to use that's outside of the rest of the code. It's all in the one place. So yeah, I don't like using the nibs and the storyboards or the XML files in Android, but yeah, that's just me. Motar2K says, does most of your revenue come from the apps you develop or from the payment you receive from developing apps for clients? It depends on the month. So some months with clients are a bit slow, so it depends. But yeah, most of it should come from the client work. Although we're building up, we're still building up the revenue from the apps. So Abdul Aziz says, hi. Hey, Abdul. Eric, 1 hour has passed. Oh, yeah, thanks, Rodrigo. Sorry for shouting. Sophia says, Objective-C has its own charm, but I've since fully defected to Swift. Doing the same from Java to Kotlin now. Sleek new languages. Yeah, you know what? Kotlin, to me, Kotlin always seemed like it was answering a problem that I didn't have, which was, I was fine with Java. But now that I look at Kotlin, I'm thinking maybe there's something there, like Java. I mean, Java's from when? The 90s, 80s maybe, probably 90s, or yeah, at least the 90s. So it's we're talking about a new way of thinking, new paradigms, all the thought that's gone into applications, and Kotlin doesn't seem like it's a high level language. It seems like it's still very low level and something that I really want to look into. Let's see. Rito Milana says, what's your opinion on Flutter? I really want to get into Flutter. I know we talk about that a lot. I'm like the biggest Flutter fanboy, but I really haven't done anything with it. Nikolai, hey, how's it going, Nikolai? Wait, Kemper. Let's see. D4400, D4400B. That's a really cool name. I'm surprised it was taken. Says Eric, your videos are awesome. Greetings from Slovenia. Hey, how's it going? Mark Fowler says that was Codename 1. Oh, sorry, that was ages ago. Oh, what? Oh, Codename 1. Is Codename 1 the Kotlin native thing that I was talking about? Okay, well maybe then that would be something I look into, because that would be. Yeah, I just hate using. I hate using Objective-C if I don't have to. Let's see. Extravagame says, our keyword ranking is pretty much the same in App Annie from what we were getting more installs, but we've been getting less store listing visitors. So that's really weird. So I'm wondering if somebody, so if you have the same keyword ranking, so going back to Extravagames, I wonder if people are just searching for it less. Have you looked at it, that keyword on Google Trends to see if there's anything there, like people are just less interested in it? I know that's a long shot, but have you tried that? Kotlin has some real nice syntactical sugar. I really need to look into that. And even Dart, I'm starting to get used to the idea of Dart, and I'm thinking, we're still using languages that are really old, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because they're very flexible. But there's certain things that we're thinking. They're coming out with these new languages, and it's not like when somebody comes out with a new framework and they're thinking, well, everyone seems to want to do this one thing. We'll just make this like a single command, and they're dumbing down the language. It seems like they're just making, they're not doing that with these things. Extravagant say, by the way, Eric, thanks for these live videos. Hey, I hope this is helpful. I hope this is I appreciate you guys all showing up. Let's see, otherwise I'd be here by myself. my one-man live stream. Let's see, Cord Funk says, what's your opinion on Vue.js? I've looked at Vue.js a little bit, and what did I think about it? I looked at it for like an hour, and I can't remember what I thought of it. I think we had one client, we have one application that was done by a developer, and it was in Vue.js, and I remember thinking, why did we introduce another framework into this? But I mean, it looked okay to me, to begin with. Sometimes I'm happy just using JavaScript, and but I don't know enough. Sorry, Cordfunk, I don't know enough to say anything about that. Mark Fowler says, I should clarify, Codename One is a plugin that allows Android and iOS development with one code base, Java. They have their own layout manager that works for both. Oh, okay. Ahmed from Sudan. Hi, Eric. I am new to app developments. Hey, welcome to the app development world, Ahmed. I am advertising an application on Facebook, and the results are 5 cents per app install. That's really good. And I see some revenue in AdMob. How do I calculate the lifetime value? So lifetime value, you have to think, how do you do lifetime value? I've seen this before. You'd have to, if you use Firebase, there is a lifetime, no. Think about your average paying user, how long they're using it. Oh, there is a calculation. I'm sorry, I can't think of what it is. I think it depends on, if you're going based on ads, how many impressions they're going to see, how long are they going to use the application. I think that, and it's really difficult to say because you don't know what the RPM is going to be going forward. But oh, Mark Fowler says you don't need it. Okay, so yeah, sorry, Ahmed, I'm not quite sure. I think I might need to look into that. It sounds like it's something I'm embarrassed to say that I don't know how to calculate that, Ahmed. Sorry about that. Let's see, Mark Fowler says, you don't need a Mac to develop for iOS because they have a Mac on a server and you can build and test through that. See, that sounds cool. I mean, one of the big downsides of doing iOS development, and I think one of the reasons why a lot of people aren't developing on both platforms is because they have to get a Mac. Macs are expensive. Macs are, you get into that whole ecosystem, right? I have a Mac and an iPhone and an iPad, and I'm thinking, how did I get swept up into this system? Well, but before I had an Android watch, and I had my Nexus 6P, and I had to get a test phone, so I'm using the iPhone, which is a good phone. I mean, I'm using an iPhone 8, which is a good phone. Again, hardware is excellent, but it's still iPhone. And I think I'm more of a Google fan, but I mean, iOS is still really good. Let's see. Naji Yusuf Hamdi, sorry about that. What is your advice for someone who is just about to launch his first app in the Google Play Store? I would say focus on your keywords. I would first of all, I would say get it out there first. Get it out there first and learn from what you see. I mean, you'll learn a lot more by having people test out the app and see it and see how people are finding it, if they're finding it at all, and you could adjust and tweak things as you go. So, and if you're confident, I mean, one thing you could do, and I'm not saying this is going to work, is you could do like a launch campaign by putting out a bunch of low CPC ads out on AdMob or UAC campaigns, so that when you rank really well to begin with, but it's all whether or not that sticks. But I've never done that. Let's see. Cordfunk says you need to check out the single file components. Oh, is this for Vue.js? It seems like there's so many good things out there. See, okay, so I did a video about shiny object syndrome, right? Where I talked about I'm really bad about, oh, there's another thing over there, there's another thing over there, there's another thing over here. And I think through a lot of my developer career, I've been subject to shiny object syndrome. So there's been a new framework, a new language, a new platform, a new something, and I'm thinking, oh, I need to find this out, and I get really very excited about it. I go to that, and then before I even get any good at it, there's something else to run to. And it seems like these frameworks are coming out faster and faster all the time. And sometimes they reach critical mass, and you really need to get into it. I think Vue.js has reached critical mass, so it's worth checking out. But I haven't done it yet, and I feel like a part of me feels like the fear of missing out, like I should know more about it, but I don't. And the other part of me thinks, I think about the developers I worked with at some of the companies I go to, and they're just working on these really old technologies, and they've never moved on. And I don't want to be that. I want to be current with stuff, and but at the same time, you just can't follow everything. But no, but if you think it's good, maybe I should check it out. Let's see. LTV life. So Ahmed says LTV lifetime value of a customer. Yes, this makes me decide if I continue advertising. Yeah, that's just it. I mean, I think for me, the reason I don't know the lifetime value of the customer is because the retention rate is so low on some of my apps. So we're talking like a couple months. So the lifetime value is not going to be that high. So when I go through and figure it out, and a lot of them uninstall in the first couple of days, which I know a lot of people think it's that sucks, Eric, that you have such low retention, but I'm still making the revenue. So you can't force people to keep your app installed, unfortunately. But if I can figure out a way, I'll tell you guys. Sophia says Swift has a clear performance advantage over Objective-C. Oh, performance. Kotlin doesn't have the same over Java, but the language extensions alone make the migration worth it. Just me, perhaps. Thanks, Sophia. Great show. Thanks. Yeah, Ahmed is so complicated. It's the I was trying to think, if I was going to think of the lifetime value, and this is where I'm going to show my math ignorance here. I would think, let's take a single day, and okay, we're going to do like a very basic one. Let's say I take my ad mob revenue and I subtract it by the amount of users in a single day or I divide it by the amount of users in a single day, and that would give me a rough estimate of how much I'm making per user for that day. And then I would look at my retention rates, and I would think how long they would do that, and I would think my lifetime value would be that. Now that's a very basic way, and it's probably not accurate because your eCPMs are going to go up and down, but it'll give you like a starting point. And if you do that, you would be really low value. It's be like 0.02 cents or something. But that's what I would. I mean, that's how I would start with. But then you might find something. You might be able to Google it, find something that's a bit more accurate than that. Liam Phillips says, "Have you ever made an app that targets longer user engagement rather than larger user numbers?" I haven't. Now I wish I had something that, because one of the things, Liam, is I don't have anything that's like an RSS reader or something that people would check every day. Yeah, and I wish I did. I wish I had something that people would be like, oh, let me check to see how, like a social app or something like that. And it's more like a tool that people would use when they need it. I like to compare the Ear Agent one to Shazam. Shazam is an app that when you get it, you think, this is cool, I'm going to use this so often, and like a week later you uninstall it because you never use it. But you're so impressed with how well it works. And I think a lot of people do. They get a lot of good reviews. They think how it is, but when they just don't really use it as often. There's no reason to go in there every day. Even if I send them a push notification, which I haven't gone down that way, so like I say, and I've thought about it, like having a push notification say, hey, don't forget to use the Ear Agent, right? And then I'm sure a lot of them would uninstall it the first push notification they got. So let's see. Ahmed says, thanks, Eric. Just found your channel recently. Hey, thanks. Welcome. I'm glad you found it, Ahmed. Let's see. Cooper says, is it possible to get notice on the Play Store without marketing? I'm just curious. Yeah, it is. I mean, when we talk about marketing, we talk about paid marketing. We talk about just marketing in general. Let's say you build up a following, and let's say it depends on marketing. If you're talking about paid marketing, is it possible? Yes, it's possible to do it without paid marketing, but you have to do some sort of marketing, whether it's social media marketing or something. Even if it doesn't cost you anything, you have to build up that. So I don't think it is possible to get found without marketing of some sort, unless people are actively searching for what you have and that doesn't exist already. So, but then it would be possible. Cord Funk says the only good thing about the Mac is the terminal. Yeah, I think I agree. I like the terminal. It's good for Netflix as well. Yeah. Rodrigo. Yeah, squirrel. Yeah, that's it. Shiny object syndrome is squirrel, and I'm really bad about that. And I remember I had one of the contracts I had. I remember I was working at a small consultancy, and I had a boss where I kept trying to tell him we need to use this new way of doing things. It was MVVM. It was model view model pattern in Silverlight. That's how old it was. And I remember trying to say why we need to use MVVM, and I said, why do we need to use that? And I was like, because it would be so cool. That was my only reason. It was the only reason it was going to come. Everyone else would have to learn it, and he was just like, I don't know, we need to do it. But we did in the end. Finally, in the end, I was able to find out why we should be using it. But at first, I was just, because that's what all the developers are using. I think we should use MVVM. So that's it. Tulip Crush says, aloha from Canada. Tulip Crush, aloha from Canada? I lived in Hawaii for 3 years, and we used to say, well, I mean, it used to say aloha, but it was like the touristy thing all over the place. Modar2K says, if you're uncomfortable with talking about how you reach clients that you are looking for. Did I miss that question? That's cool. Just say so. I'm sorry. I think I saw that question. I'm sorry if I'm missing some of these questions, guys. So let's talk about that. So Motar2K, no, I'm not uncomfortable with talking about how we reach clients that we're looking for. So let's talk about that, because I thought about doing videos about this. However, there's so many other videos out there by people looking for clients. Anybody who has any kind of business is looking for clients. If you're an app developer and you're looking for clients, you got to think, how are you going to find them, and what are they going to be looking for? You've got SEO, you've got putting content out there, you got all the inbound stuff. So the way people find you, LinkedIn is something that a lot of people have found us through LinkedIn, or they found me through LinkedIn. And I've got a very stupid LinkedIn strategy. And you may think this, I mean, if anybody friends me on LinkedIn, they could be the sleaziest salesperson. I always accept it, because I always think that sleazy salesperson has reached out to all these other people, and that moves me from a number 3 on someone's network to a number 2. And that way, you know, I show up higher up in search rankings. And that's one of the ways that a lot of people have found me through LinkedIn, because I'm always doing that. The videos help. I think lately a lot of people are finding through the videos, but then we also have the SEO efforts. So it might not look like it, but if you look at our website, we have over 1,000 pages on it. So there's all the blog posts over the years. There's all these location pages. There's landing pages. There's all kinds of stuff thinking about how are people going to find it. And then there's also good old-fashioned prospecting, where you go out and find people. And it used to be so much easier before GDPR to cold email people. Just go on to LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which was expensive, like £50 a month, but then at least you could just go through and say, I want to find the CTO of all the companies with over 200 people in the Oxfordshire area, and you could go through and find that list, and you could go through and find out what their email address is pretty quickly. There's all these tricks with using plugins like Reportive, and you can go through and just find that email address and just email them. Or you can use LinkedIn's InMail, which again you have to pay for, but and you can only have so many a month, and that's kind of a thing. So that's the outbound approach. But you have to think, if you're emailing somebody cold, they may not particularly be interested in that. So that's one thing that I'm probably not very good at. I'm better at doing the inbound stuff than I am the outbound stuff. I've done a little bit of cold calling, and I say a little bit. I hate cold calling, but it's trying to bring business in, and you're constantly doing it. So like Modar, just to let you know, when I started my company in 2004, I had no clients. But that was it. So I did the same thing everybody does. I set up a website. I got some business cards and all that stuff, and I just wait for people to phone. And of course, nobody did. It's the same as the App Store, right? You just think, I'll just build it and they'll come, and nobody came. And but I did get contacted because I had set it up as an outsourcing company. We're gonna be offshoring. That's what we're gonna do. And you know who called me? Was offshoring company, other offshoring companies. So I got loads of companies from India and China and all over the world contacted me, said, can we work with you in your network? And I said, yes, but I had that side of it done, but no clients, which was embarrassing because I was just like talking up this big game. And then, but now I've got more clients than I have developers. So it's, so I'm more focused on getting clients than I am on the other side of things. And I think about it as being, somebody said to me once, you don't find customers and then build the restaurants. If you have the customers, you build the restaurant and then you get the customers. And I don't agree with that. I think you need to find out if something's going to work, and then build around that. So people are going to be looking for something. It's a very crowded market. Being an app developer is a very crowded market. There's lots of app developers. I mean, hey, we're all app developers, aren't we? So there's so much competition out there that you have to think, how can you differentiate yourself from them and put yourself out there? And sometimes it is a case of you reaching out to them. If you don't have a presence, then you need to resort to outbound stuff. Is that rambling enough? But yeah, I mean, Motar, I have no problem talking about that kind of stuff. But I'm just, David, I'm sorry if I ignored your question. What was it? But it's okay. You really have good content. David, what was your question? If I've ignored anybody's question, please repeat it, because it's not intentional that I'm ignoring questions. Unless they're not coming through. It's possible they're not coming through. Oh, David, is it viable making a full-time business? Okay, yeah, maybe I tried to answer it. Maybe I didn't answer it well enough. Let's see. Tulip Crush. First off, thanks for your video on localization, internationalization in reply to a guy named Jay. It was a big help. Are you a guy named Jay, Tulip Crush? I love Maui. Maui's cool. I went to Maui once. But and Mark Fowler is moving to Hawaii in December. Cool. You know what? I was 20. I moved out to Hawaii when I was 20. I was in the Army. And I lived there, and I got out of the Army there, and I stayed a couple of more years. And so I left when I was 24, right? And it's funny how I wish I could go back to Hawaii, but I found I was just so negative in my life back then. It was like, man, the island's too small. You've been everywhere. Too many tourists. And now you're like, God, I wish I could go back there. What was I thinking? What was wrong with me? Why can't I have just appreciated it while I was there? So, Mark, appreciate it when you're there. El Cyro 187 says, I found your channel recently. It must have come up in a keyword for Android or Flutter development. I enjoy all the information you give. I usually do not comment, but keep it up. Thanks. Yeah, you know, is it Icro 187? I'm kind of the same. I'm not a commenter. I mean, I'm always, and I don't leave reviews. I rarely leave reviews, and it's funny because you put an app on the App Store, you put YouTube videos out, and I love the comments. I'm so grateful for the comments, but I myself am not much of a commenter, so I totally get that. I totally get that, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not always, hey, why don't you guys comment? Hey, why don't you guys like the videos? Hey, why don't you? Because I kind of understand, right? So that's it. So Tulip Crush says, so to business. Did you resolve the new iOS 12 requirements for privacy links starting on October 3rd? If so, how? I'm creating a policy page now, one for apps, one for website, cover GDPR thing. So I think we have a privacy policy, like a blanket one for all of our apps, and we have one for the website. I went through and I paid £100 for each of them, only to find out that they were exactly the same almost, and there's this free policy generator out there anyway, which gives it pretty much the same kind of results. So yeah, that's what I've done is I just have a web page. So it's nice to just have a link to the web page from within your app, from the you need a link anyway, because for the App Store page, and I just do that on all of them. However, it's tedious doing the diligence or difference. Plugins, analytics, social logins are, yeah. So I did that. That was one thing I got from the tool that I paid for. Is they did ask the questions: use AdMob, to use this, use that. But I think that was the extent of it. And when it came to the client stuff, I think that's something that they have to take care of on their own. So it's not something that I really think that much about. But But yeah, I guess I've been more focused on the Google Play side, to be honest with you, Tulip, that I need to look into that. Naji Yusuf El-Hamdi says, what tools do you recommend for keyword research, and how would you go about choosing said keywords? So one of the biggest keywords you can use, tools you can use, is Google Play itself. So if you type in, so using the suggest in Google Play, if you type in a few things, it'll give you a bunch of suggestions. There's Google Keyword Planner is a good one. If you're talking about, we have one on our website which is broken at the moment. A lot of people have tried to use it, and I need to fix it or get somebody to fix it. And then there's also the paid ones like Sensor Tower and Mobile Action, which I've never quite got my money's worth out of. So occasionally I'll renew my subscription to those things, and then like just lose interest because it's, you know, what they need is better documentation. I think the last time I went to use Mobile Action, they had all these documentation, and it was for an older version of it, so it didn't even apply. I got fed up and left them a comment, and then they gave me like a free trial for a month of everything. And I've actually been contacted by them a few weeks ago saying we could do a video to explain how to use Mobile Action, but I haven't done that yet. I just haven't got around to setting that up, and I'm wondering whether or not I'm still skeptical about those things, and maybe I shouldn't be, because I know that people use them a lot. Let's see, Tulip Crush, do you have consent built into your apps? I do on most of them. I'm not sure if I have it, and I'm not sure if I have it on all the iOS ones. Might be something I have to do. I have for the AdMob one, we do have the AdMob consent form in there, which is, so I do have the GDPR consent form. Cordfunk says, I am so sad I missed the last live stream. I heard you talked about books. Have you read 5-Second Rule by Mel Robinson? I listened to the audiobook on Audible on the 5-Second Rule. I always think that the Audible audiobook, I never count that as reading the book. I know a lot of people make book reviews on just the Audible, but yeah, I have listened to that on Audible. I thought that was really good. Oh, so yeah, listen to it in one sitting. It's one of the better books I've read lately. Yeah, I'm the same. I thought it was good when I listened to that a lot. And the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing really does work, and that was really good. But I thought it was a bit repetitive after about an hour, if I remember correctly. It was a couple months ago that I read that one, but the one I'm reading right now, the book I'm reading, which I really like, I downloaded it. It came out on Tuesday on Kindle, and I think it comes out on hardcover on the 4th of October. It's called Man Up by Bedros Kulini. It's one of those things where you, for some reason, YouTube thinks you're going to be interested in it, so it shows a few videos. I start watching it, and I start watching more, and I start watching more. And his book came out, and I was so excited about the book that I got the book, and I got it on on Wednesday night, and I'm about 40% of the way through it on my Kindle, and I think it's a pretty good one. I'm really enjoying that one. Another one that I'm reading at the moment, and I say I'm reading it because I stop reading it because it's so boring. Here is my non-book commercial, Snowball Effect, which I was told was a very good book on communications, and it's just so boring. I can't get through this thing because it's so dull. Sometimes you hear about books that people talk about, oh, it's just a fantastic book. And it's so boring, it's so hard to get through. You assume they just read The Dust Jacket. Like, there's one on my bookshelf over here called The Blue Ocean Strategy, which I keep on my bookshelf because it's hardcover and all this stuff, but it was such a boring book. You know, the first chapter is about Cirque du Soleil, and then it's almost like it should be an article, but it's a book. So, and you hear people quoting it all the time. It's one of those ones that are, like everyone keeps talking about how smart they are because they've read that book, and it's just boring. Or I find it hard to read. Let's see. Tulip Crush, I'm getting behind again. Mark Fowler, Eric, don't wish, come back. I'll work for you. Really? I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if I can afford to live in Hawaii and hire you, Mark. See, my exam page says how to increase match rate in AdMob. My match rate in AdMob decreased from 95 to 55%. I'm not sure. Is that globally, or is it in a certain location? Because they might not have all the inventory in all locations. Ahmed from Sudan says, does making an app in Firebase mean I don't have to have a server? Yeah, you could use Cloud Functions and not need to get a server if you use all Firebase. But be careful, because if you scale up a lot, you're going to have to pay more. And if it's not optimized well, it could be very expensive in terms of the downloads. So it's Firebase is a really good system, but it can be very expensive, even though the free layer is really good. Keywords, try meaty free tools. Ahmed from Sudan says, what are your recommendations for making an app very fast? Does it depend on the servers too? My app is not very fast and hosted in a cloud hosting with Bluehost. So yeah, one of the things about, if you do something like if you do something like Bluehost, you're still on a server someplace. So it depends. A lot of times you have latency based on the location, which is one of the nice things about cloud servers that do. I don't know if Bluehost actually I don't know if it's because you're actually on a Linux server someplace, if that's how you have it set up. Like we have one set up someplace, and is it Bluehost? I can't remember, but I mean, you could have latency if you're in a different location. If you want to make it really fast, Ahmed, see what you could take out of the server and bring into your own application. So that would be something that, like, for example, if you do some validation and you do the validation on the server, that could be really slow because you have to make the trip up there and back. So if you could do that in the application to speed things up, and also if you can cache things locally, that would probably be really good. So sometimes you don't need to have everything download all the time. And if you could download everything the first time you load it, keep it in local storage, that would be very zippy and very fast. But it depends on the application, I think. Let's see. Tulip says, yes or no, did you say you installed the AdMob consent plugin for your Android apps? My issue is I need multiple consent functions for each platform. I did it for Android and iOS using the AdMob consent plugin. So yeah, I did it for iOS. So they came out with both of them at the same time, just after GDPR was released. Versus just use one platform instead. For example, Unity Ads versus Google AdMob versus Analytics. Oh yeah, no, I just did one. That was one thing. I don't think I did it for the other ones. I just did it for AdMob, thinking it goes through mediation, and if they want ads, they could do that. I'm hoping that they handle that. But I don't have all the other plugins in there, so we'll see. And then we tend to gloss over audiobooks. Yeah, we did that. We did that one about audiobooks and real books a couple weeks ago, and yeah, I'm the same. I go to the gym. The one I'm listening to at the moment at the gym is called Clockwork. Clockwork, that's right. It's about systems and business. It's a bit like the E-Myth Revisited. It's by the guy who did Profit First. And I'm listening to that in the gym. And I'm listening to the gym, and I get most of it, but sometimes I just space out a little bit. And I lift those heavy weights. A little heavy weights, and I space out, get a bit spacey. And then I miss a little bit of it. So, it's a bit difficult there. So, anyway, so 100. Sophie, I've had a little bit of water. Anyway, everyone, thank you very much. I'm gonna get going because, again, Friday night is takeaway night at the old Ruley household, so I gotta get something, and they're all waiting for me. I hope you guys have I hope you guys all have a great weekend. If I missed your question, I'm really sorry. It wasn't intentional. If you do sign up for the Entrepreneurial Devs Facebook group and put it in there, I promise you won't ignore it. And sometimes it's difficult watching all the questions go by and then answering those. And I'm not dodging any other questions. I have no reason to dodge any questions. And that is, it might be pizza. It might be pizza. Pizza's the easiest one. Rodrigo. So anyway, thanks everyone. Before the fam gets unruly. Yeah, unruly. That's a classic. Thanks Sophia. Thanks Mark. Thanks Rodrigo. Thanks everybody who showed up. And I'll talk to you guys again on the live. I'll talk to you on the live. I'll talk to you on the daily video tomorrow. I'll talk to you on the live stream next week. Thanks guys. Talk to you later.